तो चलिए सीधे लिए चलते हैं रांची के सीसल, जहां न्यू इनकम टैक्स 2025 प्रोविजन के बारे में अवेयर कार्यक्रम चलाए जा रहे हैं।
माननीय आदरणीय अतिथिगणों के कर कमलों से दीप प्रज्वलित हुआ और जब आदरणीय माननीय मुख्य अतिथि महोदय, विशिष्ट आदरणीय अतिथिगण, गणमान्य अतिथिगण हम सबके बीच समारोह में मंच पर आसीन हैं, तो ऐसे में स्वागत संबोधन हेतु सादर निवेदन करती हूं समारोह के माननीय मुख्य अतिथि महोदय, आदरणीय श्री डॉक्टर डी सुधाकर राव सर, प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर ऑफ इनकम टैक्स बिहार एंड झारखंड सर से निवेदन आज के अवसर पर स्वागत संबोधन एवं विषय प्रवेश हेतु सर जोरदार तालियों से हम सभी सर का स्वागत करें।
Good afternoon to all the distinguished guests. Mainly the officers of the Income Tax Department, esteemed taxpayers, representatives of trade and industry, tax practitioners, tax deductors, Tax Bar Association, members of the media, and dear participants. Good evening to you all. I warmly welcome the chief guests of this program, Shri Rajesh Kumar Jha. He is my colleague who is demitting the office tomorrow onwards, and I fondly and warmly welcome him to this program. And my other esteemed colleague, Shri Kalika Singh, DGIT Investigation, Bihar and Jharkhand, and my esteemed, distinguished and dear friend, my batchmate, Shri GM Das, who has come all the way from Bombay to enlighten on the new Income Tax Act 2025 provisions, and also prominently and predominantly the tax deducted at source provisions. And I warmly welcome Shri Professor Deepak Kumar Srivastava ji, Director IIM Ranchi, who is having 20 years of academic research and administrative experience, and he has held numerous visiting, teaching and research assignments at several foreign universities. And his core competence is that strengthening management education, research, social impact, and internationalization. Welcome you, sir, for this program. And I warmly welcome Shri Professor Indranil Mannaji, who is the Vice Chancellor, Birla Institute of Technology, and he is a metallurgical engineer, academic leader, and materials scientist with extensive contribution to engineering, research, and higher education. Sir, welcome you to this mega outreach program of New Income Tax Act 2025, especially the TDS provisions of New Income Tax Act 2025. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this mega event in Ranchi today. This initiative reflects the Income Tax Department's commitment toward building trust, transparency, and a strong partnership with the citizens of our country. Our tax system is the very backbone of nation building, with every honest taxpayer contributing directly to our nation's infrastructure, education, health care, and economic progress. To further support you, the department has undergone a technology-driven transformation, introducing faceless assessments, simplified procedures, and online services to make compliance easier and make transparent. Today, we are here to discuss a historical milestone in this transformation, the introduction of the Income Tax Act 2025, which officially came into force from 1st April 2026. Over the past 6 decades, the old 1961 Act had expanded to more than 800 sections, heavily cluttered with complex legal jargon. To align with the global best practices and foster a trust-based tax environment, the government recognized the need for a modern, accessible law. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Income Tax Act 2025 is very concise, lucid, and easy to understand by a common graduate. Though today's outreach program is predominantly a nationwide campaign on tax deducted at source, I would like to take you through the salient features of new Income Tax Act, which fundamentally enhance the ease of doing business in India. There is a massive reduction in volume and complexity. As I told you, around 819 sections have been decluttered into around 536 sections. Likewise, rules reduced from 511 to 333. Similarly, the number of forms have reduced from 399 to 190. And the entire word count reduced from 5 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs. Around 1,200 provisos and 900 explanations have been removed and seamlessly integrated into clear, logically structured subsections. The next introduction of the new concept, tax year. In fact, earlier there was a confusion. There is previous year and assessment year. Now it has become only one nomenclature by tax year, in which the income is earned will be assessed in the same year. So this is to align the Indian tax system with international norms. Therefore, we have brought tax year concept. Then there is plain language and tables. In fact, the act is so concise and easy to understand. So the entire language is very plain, even a common graduate can understand. Likewise, there is a logical restructuring and consolidation. Especially, there are 65 different sections related to TDS and TCS have been beautifully consolidated into just 13 sections using structural tables. Then simplified complex compliance forms also. All these things will be explained by my esteemed colleague, Dr. G.M. Das, who is the core member of the drafting committee of this Income Tax Act 2025. And one more important thing is continuity and protection of rights. Importantly, while the law is simpler, no major policy changes have been introduced. All your existing rights, brought forward losses, and transitional protections are fully preserved under this new Income Tax Act, and the powers of the assessing officer remains completely unchanged. It will be important for field formations, especially the TDS and TCS, that all sections are cluttered into 393(1) of the Income Tax Act 2025 relating to various TDS provisions. Likewise, all provisions like 194R, 194S, 194IA and 194Q of the income tax have been put under 393(1) of the Income Tax Act 2025. To make this transition seamless, today's mega event is designed to be highly interactive. We are collecting your feedback on our educational materials and the Samvad sessions using a structured feedback mechanism so that we can identify and address any gaps promptly. Please also visit our dedicated kiosk to witness the demonstrations of our AI-enabled chatbot, Karsathi, and use it to resolve your queries instantly. Ladies and gentlemen, this philosophy behind the 2025 Act is clear. Simple laws lead to easy compliance. Easy compliance creates a confident taxpayer, and a confident taxpayer builds a strong nation. Trust between the citizens and the government is the bedrock of Vikasit Bharat, a developed India. Tax compliance is a shared responsibility, and a transparent system can flourish only when every stakeholder contributes with integrity. I deeply appreciate the efforts of all my officers, organizers, professionals, and participants who have made this mega event possible. Let us reaffirm our collective commitment toward a fair, accountable, and create tax culture based on awareness, fairness, accountability, and mutual respect. Thank you. Thanks for coming, all the participants, and wishing you all the success of this mega event. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable welcome address and keynote address. जोरदार तालियों से पुनः हम सभी आभार व्यक्त करें आदरणीय मुख्य अतिथि महोदय डॉक्टर डी सुधाकर राव सर, प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर ऑफ इनकम टैक्स बिहार एंड झारखंड का। आज का ये समारोह भविष्य के लिए निर्णायक होने जा रहा है और महत्वपूर्ण विचारों के आदान प्रदान के साथ मंच पर आसीन गणमान्य अतिथिगण, हमारे बीच में गरिमामय उपस्थिति ऑनरेबल प्रोफेसर इंद्रनील मन्ना सर, ऑनरेबल बीसी बीआईटी मिश्रा, प्रोफेसर इंद्रनील मन्ना सर से सादर अनुरोध करती हूं आज के अवसर पर आपके बहुमूल्य विचारों एवं संबोधन के लिए। सर का जोरदार तालियों से हम सभी स्वागत करें।
That's enough. Dr. Sudhakar Rao, the Honorable Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Bihar and Jharkhand, several of the dignitaries seated on the dais, a large number of income tax officers of various cadres and various levels, my colleague from academic fraternity, Pras Srivastav, Director IIM Ranchi, ladies and gentlemen, I probably am the least qualified person to speak in an occasion dedicated to income tax, and that too talk about the newly introduced Income Tax 2025. I actually can only claim that I'm a proud citizen to have filed income tax every single year since my employment, the first employment in 1984. But the income tax that's going to change now happens to be as old as I am. I'm 1961 born. So I can very well say that looking at me, you can easily make out that either an Income Tax Act or a person of my features need to be replaced with new lease of life and a new thought processes. So Dr. Rao mentioned, and I was very eagerly listening to him, that the new tax regime is going to be very lucid and flexible and easy to understand. I hope it is so. I probably carry a very rare and a sort of a dubious distinction of being one of those who has never filed an income tax all by himself. Every year I would have taken help from somebody or other, maybe a chartered accountant or somebody, mainly because I was too apprehensive lest I make a mistake. But that apart, the point I was trying to say is that making income tax regime simpler is definitely a positive step in the right direction. Dr. Rao mentioned something like about 900 sections have been reduced to 500 or 600 or so. And the confusion between assessment year and financial year or income tax year now is going to be removed. We'll be referring to only one tax year. So these are definitely welcome changes. But then, why is this important? Why is payment of income tax is absolutely important? You're all taxmen, so I don't need to preach before you. As a common citizen, we do understand that for a country of the expanse, complexity, diversity, and vast population, revenue generation is extremely important to be able to take care of 1.4 plus billion people. We are not only the largest, we also happen to be the youngest population in the world. So the state has to take care of the welfare of its citizens, and the principal source of revenue has to be from the taxes collected. But then there's something very interesting. While coming, I thought of educating myself a little bit about the income tax situation around the globe. 60% of the population in the United States pay income tax. Over 50% of the population in Germany pay income tax. 40 to 45% of the population in France pay direct income tax. More than 30 to 34% of the population in Japan pay direct income tax. In China, it is 10%, but a much larger percentage actually pay sort of local taxes. I didn't quite understand what does it mean. Maybe municipal tax or something else. And Dr. Rao and his colleagues are fully aware that in India it's only 6 to 7% who file income tax. Only 2 to 3% pay the income tax. So on one hand, we are the youngest population in the world. We want to emerge as a developed nation. And if there is one single index that one can refer to as to what it takes to be a developed nation, you'd refer to the Human Development Index. Generally, countries which are considered developed nation, they carry an HDI of more than 0.8 out of 1. India is somewhere around 0.6 and above. So we have a long way to go. And when I say a long way to go, what it means is that if you step out of any state capital, 100 kilometer, 50 kilometer away, and then you look at the plight of the country in terms of connectivity, healthcare, education, civil infrastructure, and several other necessities. So we need a lot of investment, a huge amount of investment. Thankfully, in the last decade or so, we have seen enormous progress made in all walks of life, but that's not enough. If you go again by certain economic parameters, on one hand, you may say that we are the 5th largest economy in the world, but the flip side is that we are also 134th in per capita income basis. So these are hard realities to be noted and appreciated. And there is only one answer that is awaited: how we make progress. How can we move ahead? And for that reason, revenue generation for a state like ours, who is not only very keen to make developmental progress, but also has to secure itself. And security today is no longer just only about the securing your borders. Today, individuals are robbed of their lifelong savings by the click of a mouse if one is not careful enough. So the cyber security and various other digital platform securities have become immensely important. So payment of income tax is not just an obligation, is actually a duty for every individual. But by quoting the numbers that I quoted a few minutes before, borrowing from various countries, I wanted to raise a very simple question. Why is it in India only 3% should bear the major revenue earning requirement for the whole country? And why is it that after even 70 plus years of independence, we are not able to cover a much larger section of the population? So just making tax regime simpler probably is not going to solve the issue. From my experience, I can quote that if you compare this plight of the students who are research scholars in foreign countries, all of them pay income tax. So even when they're in a project, they earn a salary, they pay an income tax, and that also contributes towards their social security. We have too many concessions in the country, and also I must say that the enforcement is not strong enough, which could bring the entire population, or at least the sizable section of the population who are solvent enough, under the tax regime. I'm sure the government of India is well aware of that, and so are you, the taxmen. So I'm sure something should be found out so that in the near future, India's revenue not only will increase, but also become uniform. The uniformity is very important for the simple disparity that I mentioned, that when 97% don't pay a rupee as tax of the people who are actually earning, and only 3% bear the entire burden, that certainly is anything but fair. So I would also like to make another small mention. I mean, honestly speaking, I admit I know practically nothing about the philosophies of the income tax regimes. One thing which occurred to me is that because I happened to be, until recently, the president of Indian National Academy of Engineering, and because of certain reasons, we were asked to be financially self-sufficient, and obviously we had to rely upon donations. Until recent years, donations would attract certain tax deduction, income tax deduction. So obviously an individual would like to make a contribution because that would also not only help him to make a contribution towards a philanthropic reason, but also enjoy a certain tax rebate. Unless I'm totally wrong, I'm told the new tax regime has taken away that provision. I don't know what is the rationale behind that, but that, in my opinion, certainly will not help the institutions and organizations who largely depend upon public contribution. Talking about my own institution, Birla Institute of Technology, Naxatra, those of you who are from Ranchi, or not necessarily from Ranchi, I think more or less this is a name which is known all over the country, primarily because BIT Naxatra happens to be the third oldest institute of technology in the country in the post-independence era. BIT Sindri, IIT Kharagpur, BIT Misra. BIT Misra was created by the great philanthropist B.M. Birla ji with a very noble mission that eastern part of the country is richest in minerals, and immediately after the independence, the country needed to harness its natural resources. So there would be a lot of requirement for engineers, and that's how BIT Mesra was created. He actually hailed from Calcutta, but the institution was made in Ranchi because this happens to be, one of the mineral-rich regions. Today, the face of engineering has changed very significantly. Gone are the days when by an engineer you would mean somebody who is either a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer or maybe an electrical engineer. Today, engineering is mostly done on design board, on digital board. So BIT Mesra also is going to adopt or has been adopting. But in this income tax forum, I may also make a very proud announcement that BIT Mesra is one of the very few institutions in the private domain. We are a completely self-financed institution which pays salary exactly as per the UGC 7th pay scale and precisely on the last day of the month directly into their account. And as a result of which, we do not only subscribe, we fully conform to the TDS regime. We do deduct income tax and religiously remit that to the income tax offices as and when required. But finally, I would like to say that it is very important. I certainly hail the organizers who have thought of this particular initiative to bring income tax rules and regulations, make it much more easy to understand and familiar with the common man so that someone like me would not have to say that I never filled up my own income tax return. I wish you all the very best. Thanks very much to Dr. Rao and his colleagues. And I'm sure this initiative will make things much more simpler and more effective. Thank you. Jai Hind.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ आपके बहुमूल्य विचारों मार्गदर्शन के लिए। आज के बेहद महत्वपूर्ण अवसर में बार बार ऐसे शब्द का प्रयोग कर रही हूँ क्योंकि ये ऐसा अवसर जिसकी परिभाषित नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे अवसर पर मंच को गरिमा प्रदान कर रहे परम आदरणीय ऑनरेबल वाइस चेयरमैन बीआईटी मिश्रा प्रोफेसर इंद्रनील मन्ना सर का बहुत धन्यवाद आपके महत्वपूर्ण विचारों के लिए। सर, एक बार पुनः जोरदार तालियों से सर का आभार व्यक्त करें हम सभी। आज का ये संवाद कार्यक्रम, आज का ये आयोजन टीडीएस मेगा आउटरीच प्रोग्राम करदाताओं और विभाग के बीच एक प्रभावी संवाद का मंच, जहां आज कर संबंधी प्रावधानों की जानकारी, व्यवहारिक समाधान तथा नवीन सुधारों पर चर्चा हो रही है और आगे होगी। आज का अवसर जिसको मैं मंच में गरिमा प्रदान कर रहे हैं हमारे माननीय आदरणीय अतिथिगण, और ऐसे ही हमारे आदरणीय गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर मंच पर आसीन हैं। मंच को आभा प्रदान कर रहे हैं आदरणीय डायरेक्टर आईआईएम प्रोफेसर दीपक कुमार श्रीवास्तव, डायरेक्टर इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट रांची प्रोफेसर दीपक कुमार श्रीवास्तव सर को मैं सादर निवेदन करती हूं आज के अवसर पर आपके महत्वपूर्ण विचारों के लिए, मार्गदर्शन के लिए। सर, जोरदार तालियों से सर का अभिनंदन करें।
So Johar, Namaste, very good afternoon. Respected dignitaries on the dais, officers from Income Tax Department, citizens from different they have expertise in different areas and experts also. At the outset, I would like to thank and my congratulations to Income Tax Department for organizing TDS Mega Outreach this event. This event has so many implications. And in my opinion, this is one of the example, one of the initiative of citizen-centric policy. Now, we live in the world where a lot of demand comes from different parts of the society, and public policy has become very important. And very often, we are very careful also to how to design public policy. So in my opinion, there are three things which are important for any policy, especially the policy which is conceptualized in developing countries or emerging countries like India. The first thing is the policy has to be very simple, which can be explained easily. And in today's world, because of so much technological advancement, this simplicity can be acquired easily. The second, which is important, is the logic. There has to be a logic. A good logic is something which can be explained in few seconds. A policy is designed to increase the revenue from a specific tax, or policy has been designed to increase the brackets so that more number of people will come and they will file the return. So logic is also important. So we continue with this. There can also be argument, income tax, why not expenditure-based tax? I don't have an answer, right? But there's a discussion, and different parts of the world that was also experimented, expenditure-based tax. The third important thing is, there has to be participation from beneficiaries or the citizens. And such participation can be at the beginning, or that can also be kind of loop, the feedback, so that the policy can be improved over the time. Now, if we talk about the tax, tax is essential component of any system, any society. Ancient time, we used to have tax system. भारत में भी कर पद्धतियां और कई इस तरीके के संदर्भ हैं कि टैक्स के जो कर जो व्यवस्था थी काफी सुदृढ़ मानी जाती थी, एंड दुनिया के अलग अलग देशों में अलग अलग प्रकार की कर व्यवस्था थी. बट देयर इज ए फंडामेंटल डिफरेंस, द टैक्स सिस्टम विच यूज्ड टू बी इन एंशिएंट टाइम एंड द टैक्स सिस्टम वी हैव टुडे. Earlier time, the tax system was considered one of the vehicle to raise the resources, and the resources used to be raised by the king, and the king had the power how to use these resources. But today, the taxation has become a kind of social contract between citizen and the government. In democratic system, this is very, very important. The moment that citizen would pay the tax, there would be kind of expectations. The expectations essentially would be pertaining to public goods. What kind of public goods are being provided by system? What kind of a law and order? What kind of a road? What kind of other infrastructural projects? Both soft infrastructure as well as hard infrastructure. Education, which is funded by government. So this has become like a more social contract, right? And more, this kind of a global mobility, citizens are going to be more demanding. Now, if we talk about the tax system in India, in last 1 decade, there has been a significant jump. The collection of the tax that has increased, and still there are many countries in the world, they have better tax GDP ratio, right? Especially Nordic countries, where social security system is one of the best, like Denmark or Norway or Finland. They have a huge tax, this kind of income tax, considered one of the countries. They have a very highest this kind of a tax, this income tax rate. Also, there is a OECD country, right? The developed country. This tax GDP ratio certainly has improved, but still there is a gap, right? What is being considered as a global benchmark, and that is being done by other parts of the world and the group of countries. Now, the advantage, if we have enough tax collection that would support the government to finance. Not 100%, absolutely no country can have it, because there would be different kind of a financing mechanism, but there has to be a reasonable. And the reasonability that depends on the kind of country and the kind of stage, the development state country has been passing through. So for India also, that has been considered one of the reasonable, this kind of a tax GDP ratio, which can help country, both union and state, to support different financial or infrastructural projects. But there has been significant improvement, right? Now coming to income tax, right? Income tax, there is also improvement. I remember 10 years and 15 years back, the number of people who used to file 1 crore plus, declare 1 crore plus income, it used to be few thousands. Now that number has increased, right? And this tax system contributes a lot to now Indian exchequer. Now coming to income tax department, perhaps this is one of the great, case study for citizen-centric initiatives or citizen-centric services, right, as well as data-driven governance. The system has become more formal, more simple, right, and I proudly say that I file my income tax myself. And this is because the system is much, much simple. But there was a time, maybe perhaps 10 years and 15 years back, the system had a lot of challenges, and because technology was not deployed enough. Today we have advantage, we have a technology, right, and technology has been implemented properly. Still, of course, there is a scope for improvement. The kind of, the size we have, the number of taxpayers has been growing, and more improvement, certainly there is always a scope for the improvement. And the second thing, what perhaps income tax department is the human intervention, behavioral interventions. This kind of a mega outreach event, this is a good example of behavioral interventions, so that people can understand, people can know, and there is a kind of sensitizing people to pay the tax, and how this entire system or new tax, this regime has become simple. So that this is very, very popular way of making a communication, that what changes have been made and how it is going to help. So with this, I would like to end and would like to congratulate again Income Tax Department for organizing this mega event, and also to making, entire tax filing system much, much easier. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, and look forward to seeing you more such kind of, outreach. If you want anything which educational institutions can do, I can say on behalf of IIM, would be happy to conduct or organize such kind of, event or outreach. And also, I'm not sure any case study or any kind of a discussion has been done on kind of initiatives being taken by Income Tax Department. So if you have something in your mind and your leadership, Sri Rao Saab is here. If you would like to share something that how, because your this success or this digital transformation is a good case study, and which can be easily related to the business practice. It has a logic, it has simplicity, right, and it has also a citizen participation. Thank you once again.
Product is about. So, it goes. Okay. So, now if you see, we did not totally change the manner in which UK has changed well. Because India is known for litigations. Argumentative Indians. Everything you will question. Right? Because in English law, first of all, their appeal process, litigation cost is very high. To go on litigation, you have to pay very high fees. In India, litigation is very cheap. And we are argumentative. So, we will question everything, right? So, we thought changing everything will create a problem because people will start interpreting and questioning. Our object is to reduce litigation, right? And therefore, wherever the language is simple and exactly gives the same meaning, we will change it, otherwise we will not change it. So, one such example is, notwithstanding is not there in 2025 Act. That word is completely replaced by the word irrespective of. So, if I say, notwithstanding the fact that I am retired from this department, yet the departmental officers are calling me for giving lecture, and it's my honor. Okay? Irrespective of the fact that I retired, that the department people are calling me for lecture, and it is my honor. Notwithstanding the fact that I retired, or irrespective of the fact that I retired, do not alter the meaning. Whereas if I say irrespective, everybody understands. If I say notwithstanding, everybody doesn't understand. So, in the Income Tax Act 2025, the word notwithstanding is not there, and it is totally replaced by the word irrespective of. There are certain things, I don't know whether I can put it, one example I will take. Section 22 is there in the Income Tax Act. What is that section? Income from? Yeah, very nice. Income from house property. Wonderful. Annual value to be determined. What is the language used to there? Can someone tell me? Some chartered accountant, somebody who knows? How do you determine the annual value? Annual value of what? Annual value. That is rentable value. Fair market value of a property. Actually, it talks about building and land appurtenant thereto. The fair market value or the annual value of a land, of a building and a land appurtenant thereto. This is the language. Now, land you understand, building you understand. Do you understand appurtenant thereto? Huh? You understand? Who understands? If you can explain what is appurtenant thereto. Anybody who understands? Yeah. Please explain. Yes. I am coming to you. I will give the mic to you. You can speak. Just come a little forward. Yeah. Thank you.
Sir, actually it means a building which is has been constructed on that land, along with building plus land, the value in total with land and building. It's Rahul Kumar Upadhyay, sir. Not chartered accountant, but I am in CA final. I am pursuing Group 2.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Great future to you, Rahul. Yes. Wonderful. Yeah. So, what he says is, there is a building and the land is attached to that building. Okay? So, we thought, like Rahul, and our understanding also was like that, we should change it. And somebody said, land adjacent to building. Somebody said, land attached to building. Remove this word appurtenant there. What is this language? Is it English? Greek? I mean, so difficult. What it is, nobody knows. So we thought we will replace this with the word adjacent or appurtenant. Not appurtenant there too, or attached. Adjacent was the word we suggested. Okay? Then our chairman CBDT told us, your clear direction is set. See, wherever the meaning is well understood, or the courts in India have interpreted that meaning and we have accepted the meaning, don't go and change it. Because if you change it, it may create a new legal tussle. That you have to be careful. So we said, sir, it is very simple. No, go and have a second look. Are you giving the same meaning to that word, like notwithstanding, irrespective? Or is there a meaning difference if you change it? So we went and studied it again. Though we put it to the chairman's approval first, but because he insisted to have a second look, we went to have a second look. Now we went to have a second look, we thought that we are committing an error. That the word adjacent or attached doesn't give the same meaning as the word appurtenant thereto. Because the courts have interpreted what is the meaning of appurtenant thereto. This is the conference hall, this is the building, right? Suppose, of course, this is on a particular land, that land is attached to this. Now you all came to this place by your vehicle, say a car or scooter, whatever. Where is the parking place for this building? I don't know. If there is a parking place here, it's okay. Suppose the parking place is, say, 500 meters away from this building. And you parked your vehicle there in that place and come to this place. Whether that parking spot, 500 meters away from this building, which is not attached to this building, which is not adjacent to this building, will be appurtenant to this building? Yes. Yes. Appurtenant thereto does not necessarily mean proximity, physical proximity. Does not mean physical proximity, but it means functional proximity. Proximity between building and land must be functionally attached, not physically attached. It may be physically attached, may not be physically attached. Is it attached functionally? Whether that place is necessary to run this building? Yes. Without parking, how will it come? Generator kept it far away. Without generator, how this building will function? That place is... So, many places, wherever the courts have given a clear meaning, we didn't change the law there also. We retained the very same phrase. And this one, actually, why we removed this proviso and explanations? Because my friend Sudhakar already told you that we removed this. And one example I will give you, just look at this section, section 10. Section 10, if you see, there are 90 explanations and 131 provisos in one section. Section is one section only. This one section is containing 131 provisos, 90 explanations. Okay, now you go and look at one clause in that. Section 10, one clause 23C, in that there are 35 provisos. Okay? 35 provisos in clause 23C. Now one proviso out of this 35 proviso, that is third proviso. It contains 4 explanations. Now out of that 4 explanations, second explanation is again containing 8 provisos. That is the way 1961 Act is designed. Now actually that's the trust provision. Education institution, hospital, their income is exempt, it says. So when you go and look at, suppose if I have to say that 35 out of 35 proviso, I want to refer to 21st proviso, which is that I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 21, mark it here. And next time I want 34th proviso, again I will start counting 1, 2, 3. So difficult even to locate that particular proviso, particular explanation. Now we have removed it. It's complicating the thing. Each proviso has become subsection. Each explanation, removed it, we put subsection there. So now you have only section and subsection, and you don't have all these complex provisos. Now proviso is there, but wherever, now proviso is not there, but we have clause and subclause. So we have section, subsection, clause, sub.
टीडीएस मेगा आउटरीच प्रोग्राम 2026 के तहत राष्ट्रव्यापी जागरूकता अभियान चलाया जा रहा है। इसके जरिए आयकर विभाग,
आपको इस स्लाइड को देखने की जरूरत है। जब आप टीडीएस रिटर्न, टीडीएस स्टेटमेंट जिसको कहते हैं कोलोकियली, टीडीएस रिटर्न जब आप फाइल करते हैं तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आपका काम खत्म हो गया, लेकिन डिपार्टमेंट का काम और ट्रेसेस पोर्टल का काम तब शुरू होता है, क्योंकि आपने जो भी स्टेटमेंट उसमें फाइल किया है वो पहले ओल्टास ऑनलाइन टैक्स अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम में उसको चेक किया जाता है कि आपने जो टैक्स क्लेम किया है वो वास्तव में सही है कि नहीं, कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग चालान से वो डिपॉजिट हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है। फिर आपने जो पैन नंबर मेंशन किया है एज अ डिडक्टर, आपने किसी को पेमेंट किया, उस पेई का पैन नंबर आपने उसमें फिल किया, वो वेरीफाई करेगा वो गलत है, सही है, इनऑपरेटिव है, इनवैलिड है। यदि वो सही होगा तभी उसको क्रेडिट मिलेगा, और यदि सही नहीं है या तो ओल्टास लेवल पे कहीं कोई गलती हुई, पैन वैलिडेशन लेवल पे गलती हुई, तो नतीजा ये होगा कि आपके अगेंस्ट में एक डिमांड रेज हो जाएगा। वही लास्ट एक डिमांड रेज होगा, एक लेट फी कैलकुलेटेड होगी। तो इन सब से बचने के लिए जरूरी है कि आप अपने रिटर्न फाइल करते समय, एक बहुत फेमस जापानीज कॉन्सेप्ट है जिसको बोलते हैं चैंटो, उसको याद रखिए, राइट, डूइंग थिंग्स राइट फॉर द वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम, एट द वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम। पहली बार आप यदि पैन का, चालान का, डेट, अमाउंट एटसेट्रा का आप ख्याल रखें तो आगे कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा। ये फॉर्म 168 वही है जो कभी फॉर्म 26 एस हुआ करता था, एनुअल इंफॉर्मेशन स्टेटमेंट हुआ करता था। यदि इसके पहले वाले लेवल में कभी कोई गलती हुई तो एज एन इंडिविजुअल उसके फॉर्म 168 दैट इज 26A में वो रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं करेगा। फिर वो डिडक्टी, वो इंडिविजुअल, वो पेई आपके पीछे पड़ेगा कि आपने या तो मेरा टैक्स डिडक्ट करके जमा नहीं किया, या जमा किया तो रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया, या फाइल किया तो उसमें गलती हुई, तो आपको परेशानी होगी। इसीलिए आप जो भी कुछ कर रहे हैं वो किसी न किसी इंडिविजुअल टैक्स पेयर को के अकाउंट में इस तरीके से रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा, और यहां गलती होगी तो वो आपके पास आएगा। ठीक है, ये सब सर ने बता ही दिया है। 2 साल विंडो है, 6 साल सही था, 2 साल सही था, वक्त बताएगा, लेकिन अभी तो 2 साल है। सारे फॉर्म्स बदल गए हैं। मैं सिर्फ ये आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि यदि आपने पैन गलत फाइल किया, गलत पैन आपने मेंशन किया, गलत पैन का क्या मतलब है? एज अ डिडक्टर आप ये नहीं कह सकते हैं कि सामने वाले ने मुझे तो यही पैन नंबर दिया है, यही फोटोकॉपी दी है, तो मैं क्या करूं? नहीं, आपके पास पैन वैलिडेशन करना आपकी जिम्मेदारी होती है। एज अ डिडक्टर आपकी जिम्मेदारी है कि पैन को वैलिडेट करे। इनकम टैक्स इंडिया का एक ई फाइलिंग पोर्टल है जो आप सब लोग जानते होंगे, वहां पर बल्क पैन वेरिफिकेशन की फैसिलिटी होती है। NSDL जिसका नाम आज के दिन में प्रोटियन है, वहां भी बल्क पैन वेरिफिकेशन की फैसिलिटी है, वहां से भी कर सकते हैं। इनकम टैक्स इंडिया वेबसाइट पे भी इंडिविजुअल पैन के बारे में पता कर सकते हैं कि सही या गलत है। वहां पैन वैलिडेशन करना जरूरी है। पैन वैलिडेशन से आपको क्या पता चलता है कि क्या ये पैन गलत पैन है, फेक पैन है, इनवैलिड है या इनऑपरेटिव है। इनऑपरेटिव कब होता है? जब पैन का आधार से लिंक नहीं होता है। मैं एज CIT TDS मेरे पास हंड्रेड्स में एप्लीकेशंस या कंप्लेंट्स आती रहती है, जिससे ये पता चलता है कि एक आदमी ने 2, 3 या 4 पैन ले रखा है, लेकिन उसका एक ही पैन उसके आधार से लिंक्ड होगा, तो बाकी 2 या 3 या 4 पैन, मेरे पास एक एग्जांपल है 8 पैन का एग्जांपल, एक आदमी ने 8 पैन ले रखा है, गलती से नहीं लिया होगा, जरूर जानबूझ करके लिया होगा, और उसने 8 पैन में एक जो सही पैन है वो छोड़ करके बाकी 7 में से कोई भी एक पैन आपको दे दिया और आपने उस पर विश्वास कर लिया, वो पैन वैलिडेट नहीं होगा। पैन वैलिडेशन जब नहीं होगा तो वो एक डिफॉल्ट माना जाता है, एंड पर डिफॉल्ट इनकम टैक्स कानूनों में 10,000 रुपए के पेनल्टी का प्रावधान है। तो आप एक TDS रिटर्न फाइल करते हैं और उसमें 10 पैन इस तरह से गलत हुई तो 1 लाख रुपए की पेनल्टी, कंप्यूटर ऑटोमेटिकली वो डिमांड नोटिस जनरेट करके आपको भेज देगा। आपको लगेगा मैंने क्या गलती की, लेकिन गलती किसी और की है, उसका नतीजा आप पर पड़ सकता है यदि आपने पैन वैलिडेशन नहीं किया। तो ये जरूरी है। सब्सटेंटिव लॉज के बारे में मैं कुछ कहना नहीं चाहूंगा, बहुत सारी बातें हो गई है। मैं सिर्फ 3 सेक्शंस के बारे में आपका ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहता हूं। आप को शायद अवेयर हो, 2020-2021 के बाद से TDS के प्रोविजंस में काफी सारे बदलाव हुए हैं और काफी नए नए प्रोविजंस आ गए हैं। अभी तक एक जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी कि TDS सिर्फ सर्विसेज पे लगता है, परचेज ऑफ गुड्स पे TDS नहीं लगता है। ठीक है, इसका बहुत फायदा लोग उठाते थे। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो 194C में यदि कोई कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल अमाउंट है तो उसको स्प्लिट कर देते थे कि ये अमाउंट है फॉर परचेज ऑफ गुड्स और ये बाकी अमाउंट है फॉर कमीशनिंग, इंस्टॉलेशन, सर्विसेज एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा। सो परचेज वाले पोर्शन पे TDS नहीं लगेगा, अब तक नहीं लगता था, लेकिन अब उसको प्लग करने के लिए एक नया सेक्शन आया है, सेक्शन 194Q। सो जो भी यहां पर डिडक्टर्स हैं, सेक्शन 194Q, R और T, QRT, वो ध्यान रखिए, ये तीनों एकदम नए सेक्शंस हैं। 194T तो पिछले ही साल आया है और ये साल जो 26-27 है ये पहला साल है जिसमें 194T का हम लोग असर देखने जा रहे हैं। सेक्शन 194Q इज एप्लीकेबल ऑन परचेज ऑफ गुड्स। मैं वो ले आता हूं स्लाइड। ऑन परचेज ऑफ गुड्स, कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या इंस्टीट्यूशन विच इज एंगेज्ड इन अ बिजनेस और कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी जिसका पिछले साल का टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा हो, वो यदि इस साल में किसी एक इंडिविजुअल से परचेज कर रहा है एनी गुड्स विच इज मोर देन 50 लाख रुपीज, तो उसको TDS करना है। TDS का रेट बहुत कम है, 0.1%, लेकिन यदि आपने ये 0.1% TDS नहीं किया तो आपके प्रॉफिट लॉस अकाउंट में जो आपने एक्सपेंडिचर बुक किया है वो 30% डिसअलाउ हो सकता है सेक्शन 40A(1)(a) में। यू कैन बी ट्रीटेड एज एन SSC इन डिफॉल्ट। सो ऑल माय चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट फ्रेंड्स, प्लीज टेक नोट ऑफ दिस। यदि मैं आपसे सवाल पूछूं कि गुड्स का डेफिनेशन क्या है, क्या आप लोगों में से कोई बता सकता है इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज इट अ गुड्स? जो बोलते हैं कि गुड्स है, जरा हाथ उठाएं। इलेक्ट्रिसिटी क्या गुड्स है? बहुत कम लोग ये कहते हैं कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी गुड्स है, लेकिन आपको जानकर शायद आश्चर्य नहीं हो, बहुत सारे जजमेंट्स है। इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज अ गुड्स, इट इज अ गुड्स। और यदि कोई हमारे फ्रेंड हो जो किसी छड़ बनाने वाली कंपनी, स्टील कंपनी के का अकाउंट्स ऑडिट कर रहे हैं, सबसे ज्यादा वहां एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज अ वेरी बिग एक्सपेंडिचर, 50 लाख से ज्यादा होगा। उन्होंने यदि टीडीएस नहीं किया है तो 30% उनका डिसअलाउड हो जाएगा। ये बहुत बड़ा सेक्शन है। उसी तरह से परचेज ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर, इट इज अ गुड्स। और भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो मैं बता सकता हूं, लेकिन समयाभाव के कारण। और 194Q से ज्यादा खतरनाक है 194R। It is business perquisites and other benefits. Now, what is other benefits? Well, anything and everything which is not salary. So, salary का definition है, salary के 3 component होते हैं। आप सब लोग को salary मिलती होगी, बहुत सारे लोगों को। Salary, perquisites and profit in lieu of salary. Salary आपको इसलिए दिया जाता है कि you share an employer-employee relationship. लेकिन ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें होती है। एक मेडिसिन कंपनी, फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनी एक डॉक्टर को गिफ्ट दे रही है मर्सिडीज कार, मुझे पता है, हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन है। वो डॉक्टर और मेडिसिन कंपनी में कोई एम्प्लॉयर एम्प्लॉय रिलेशनशिप नहीं है, बट दैट इज अ गिफ्ट विच इज अ बिजनेस परक्विजिट। उस पर उस कंपनी को टीडीएस करना है। ये कितने सारे तरीकों में हमको हिट करने जा रहा है, समय के साथ पता चलेगा। लेकिन सेक्शन क्यू, सेक्शन आर, सेक्शन टी, 194Q और टी हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हम सबको उसका ख्याल रखना चाहिए। सेक्शन 206C, सर ने इतने सारे सेक्शंस की चर्चा की है, मैं उसको रिपीट नहीं करना चाहता हूं। यदि एज ए डिडक्टर आप अपना टीडीएस रिटर्न सही से फाइल नहीं करते, मतलब प्रॉपर्ली डिडक्ट नहीं करते हैं, डिडक्ट नहीं करने के बाद डिपॉजिट नहीं करते हैं, डिपॉजिट करने के बाद रिटर्न फाइल नहीं करते हैं, रिटर्न फाइल करने के बाद यदि कोई मिस्टेक है और उसका करेक्शन स्टेटमेंट फाइल नहीं करते हैं, तो इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है। टीडीएस क्रेडिट मिसमैच हो सकता है, चालान मिसमैच हो सकता है, टैन पैन में नोट करने में मिस्टेक हो सकता है, टैन की जगह पैन लिख दिया, पैन की जगह टैन लिख दिया, टैन में गलती हो गई, पैन में गलती हो गई। मिस क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ पेमेंट्स, कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि दुनिया में एक ही तरीके से लोग इनकम टैक्स से चोरी करते हैं, दैट इज मिस कैरेक्टराइजेशन और मिस क्लासिफिकेशन या मिस नॉमेनक्लेचर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन। एक ही तरीका है जिसका रिफ्लेक्शन होता है 2 तरीके से, या तो आपकी इनकम आप घटा देते हैं या एक्सपेंडिचर बढ़ा देते हैं। जिसको इनकम टैक्स 3 तरीके से एड्रेस करता है, या तो आपका इनकम जोड़ देता है, या आपके एक्सपेंडिचर को डिसअलाउ कर देता है, या फिर देयर आर सम प्रोविजंस बाय फोर्स ऑफ लॉ। मैं कहता हूं कि ये आपका इनकम है, भले ही ये हो सकता है आपके लिए कैपिटल ट्रांजैक्शन हो, लेकिन बाय फोर्स ऑफ लॉ हम कहते हैं कि आपका इनकम है, आपके इनकम में जोड़ दिया जाएगा। सो ये दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है। अकेला यही रिस्पॉन्सिबल है सारे इनकम टैक्स इवेजन या फ्रॉड के लिए। ये सारी चीजें हो सकती है। यदि सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से कोई कर रहा है तो हम उसको इवेजन मानेंगे, यदि बोनाफाइड मिस्टेक है तो हम करेक्शन स्टेटमेंट को एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे। शॉर्ट डिडक्शन, नो डिडक्शन, इस तरीके की चीजें होती हैं। आपके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट लायबिलिटी आ सकती है यदि शॉर्ट डिडक्शन हुआ, और यदि डिडक्ट करके डिपॉजिट नहीं किया देन इट इज अ मिस अप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ गवर्नमेंट फंड। आपने किसी से टैक्स डिडक्ट कर लिया और अपने पास रखे हुए हैं और 1 साल बाद पे कर रहे हैं। 1 साल तक आपने गवर्नमेंट फंड को अपने साथ रखा हुआ है, which invites direct prosecution as sir said under section 276B of Old Income Tax Act। नया सेक्शन क्या है मुझे भी नहीं पता है, मैं भी गूगल बाबा से ही पूछूंगा। डिलेड फाइलिंग, लेट फी 200 रुपया पर डे। छोटा लगता है लेकिन काफी बड़ा हो जाता है ये। यदि ये इनऑपरेटिव, इनकरेक्ट, इनवैलिड पैन है तो क्या होगा, मैंने इसके बारे में चर्चा की थी। डिजिटल सिग्नेचर, ग्रीवांस रिड्यूशल, बहुत सारे हमारे पास ग्रीवांस आते रहते हैं। बहुत सारे फोरम्स हैं, इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट ने प्रोवाइड किया है बहुत सारा फोरम्स। आपको किसी तरह की कोई समस्या है आप इधर जा सकते हैं, हमारे ई फाइलिंग पोर्टल पे जा सकते हैं, ट्रेसेस पोर्टल पे। देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड ई निवारण और सीपी ग्राम। इसके अलावा आप हमारे ऑफिस में आयकर संपर्क केंद्र में आ सकते हैं, जुरिसडिक्शनल असेसिंग ऑफिसर से आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, या डायरेक्टली सीपीसी टीडीएस को लिख सकते हैं। एज अ डिडक्टर शायद यही चीज, यही एक स्लाइड पर मैं आपका ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहूंगा। प्लीज कोशिश करें कि ये सारी चीजें ना हो, रॉन्ग असेसमेंट ईयर या टैक्स ईयर आप न लिखें। अभी 1 अप्रैल 2026 के बाद जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहे हैं उसमें नए सेक्शन कोट करें, पुराने सेक्शन कोट ना करें। लेकिन पुराने किसी साल का यदि करेक्शन रिटर्न आपने फाइल किया है, अभी 2025-26 का फाइल किया, तो आपको पुराना ही स्टेटमेंट फाइल करना पड़ेगा, दैट इज 26Q एंड नॉट फॉर्म नंबर 140। और पुराने सेक्शन में वही कोड दिया हुआ है 94J, 94H एटसेट्रा। नए सेक्शन में वो सारा कोड्स बदल गया है इस तरीके से, इस तरीके से। अब आपको ये सारे कोड्स लिखने हैं। तो एज अ डिडक्टर्स आपको इस चीज का ख्याल रखना है। आपको ये सारे कोड्स याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये सारा कोड्स हमारे वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल है, जब आप रिटर्न फाइल करेंगे तब आपको मिलेगा, और नहीं तो फिर से गूगल सब कुछ जानता है। ये है एक अपना कर साथी। आई एम वेरी श्योर कि आप लोगों ने ये सुना होगा, इनकम टैक्स ने एक अपना AI चैटबॉट बनाया है। ये देखिए, ये हमारा वेबसाइट है। एक मिनट रुक जाइए, इसको वापस कीजिए, इसको मिनिमाइज कीजिए ऊपर से। हाँ, अभी जाइए इनकम टैक्स के वेबसाइट पे, incometaxindia.gov.in ये वेबसाइट है। incometax.gov.in आपके रिटर्न फाइल करने के लिए, लेकिन इनकम टैक्स इंडिया ये हमारा है। नीचे में कॉर्नर में देखिए वो लोगो आपको दिखेगा, उसको जैसे ही क्लिक करते हैं ये डायलॉग बॉक्स ओपन होता है। इस पे मैं आपके सामने एक क्वेश्चन पूछता हूं। संजय जी कोई एक क्वेश्चन पूछिए, सैलरी से रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप पूछिए। आप एक बताइए, देखिए हम एक यहां क्वेश्चन लिख रहे हैं, यहां पर नीचे में व्हाट इज, ये उसको समझ नहीं सकेगा क्योंकि उसमें कुछ स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक है, लेकिन ये बहुत ही यूजफुल AI टूल है हमारे पास। आप जो सारा सवाल पूछना चाहे आप इस पर पूछ सकते हैं। ये बाइलिंगुअल तरीके से काम करता है, हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में। आप फॉलो अप क्वेश्चन भी कर सकते हैं, रिटर्न फाइल करने के पहले भी आप सवाल कर सकते हैं, और रिटर्न फाइल करते समय भी आपको लगा कि अरे ये जो पर्टिकुलर ट्रांजैक्शन है, ये इसको मैं किस तरीके से ट्रीट करूं, इनकम में ट्रीट करूं, नहीं करूं, TDS हुआ है नहीं हुआ है, वो भी सवाल आप पूछ सकते हैं। हमने एक कुछ क्या सवाल पूछा हमने पूछा फॉर्म्स के बारे में कि पुराना फॉर्म क्या है सैलरी TDS रिटर्न का, और नया फॉर्म क्या है। तो ये हमको जवाब दे रहा है कि फॉर्म नंबर 24Q इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 के तहत है, और नए एक्ट के तहत ये फॉर्म नंबर 130। ये बहुत छोटा सवाल है, लेकिन वी हैव वर्कड ऑन दिस चैटबॉट। ये आपके बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सवाल का भी जवाब देने में सक्षम है। जितना रिफाइंड आपका सवाल होगा उतना स्पेसिफिक आपको आंसर मिलेगा। यदि आपने जनरल सवाल पूछा तो जेनेरिक आंसर मिलेगा, लेकिन आपने डिफाइंड स्पेसिफिक पूछा कि मेरे इनकम में ऐसा है, वो जवाब देगा। वापस आइए, ये इसी तरह से आपको निकलता है। वो डायलॉग बॉक्स है लेफ्ट साइड में, और राइट साइड में हम बता रहे हैं कि व्हाट इट कैन डू और इट कैन नॉट डू। ये आपका टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल नहीं कर सकता है, लेकिन आपके टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल करने में आपकी मदद करेगा। थैंक यू। ऊपर में मैंने अपना ईमेल एड्रेस लिखा है patna.cit.tds@incometax.gov.in। समयाभाव के कारण मैं ये डिटेल में प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं कर सका, बट आप लोग चाहें तो इस ईमेल को नोट कर लीजिए। जिन लोगों के ईमेल हमको प्राप्त होंगे, यदि आपका रिक्वेस्ट है, ये प्रेजेंटेशन हम आप सबको ईमेल कर देंगे, ये हमारा प्रॉमिस है। ठीक है। इनकम टैक्स का जो वेबसाइट है वो काफी रिवैम्प्ड हो गया है, थॉरोली रिवैम्प्ड हो गया है। आप उसमें बहुत सारी बुकलेट्स, पैम्पलेट्स हम लोगों ने उसमें लाई है। हमारा बहुत एनिमेशन वीडियोस आप लोगों ने यूट्यूब पर देखा होगा। ज्यादातर आपके सवालों के लिए हमारा वेबसाइट काफी है। वी हैव बिकम ट्रूली फेसलेस। बावजूद इसके आपके पास और भी कोई सवाल हो तो आयकर विभाग में आपका स्वागत है। थैंक यू।
तो आप सुन रहे थे केएल कनक को, जिन्होंने आयकर विभाग से रिलेटेड जो भी समस्याएं होती है, रिटर्न फाइल करने में उसके बारे में बताया और बहुत डिटेल्स में बताया, और साथ ही जिस तरीके से कुछ संशोधन भी हुए हैं और 1 अप्रैल 2026 से ये लागू हो गया है, इसको लेकर भी काफ़ी डिटेल्स में बताया।